What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and Jasmine from the Jasmine brand is here.
Yes.
And you know it's Mastery of Comedy. You know comedians are some of my favorite people. And Chloe Hilliard is here.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for showing up.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. We had you on lip service before, too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a time.
How was that?
Let me say,
diet.
I just want to say you are a pioneer because everybody is popping a pee on podcasts, and you laid down a foundation. Yes, you did it first.
You were the first pee popper?
Yes.
Yeah, that P is for podcasts,
yes.
Okay? But honestly, like, congratulations to you on everything.
Thank
It's been a while since we've sat down like this, but Black Lady Sketch Show, we saw the new season just premiered.
That's right. Season 4 premiered just this past Friday, and I had the honor of serving as co-head writer, co-executive producer.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Thank you. Yes.
We don't even need fake claps. We got real ones.
That's a big deal.
You know what? I think it's so important for people to know that, like, this is a show that's created by a Black woman, Robin Thede. We are the only all-Black women writers' room in Hollywood. So everything that you see, every hair, makeup, wardrobe, everything that you see has come from the minds of Black women. And, we're funny. So we're excited for season 4. And we got amazing guest stars like Bobby Brown. And
oh, wow.
So many. Tracy Ellis Ross is in it. Tank Kell,
and
funny. Jay Ellis.
We've had some moments with Tank.
Yeah, they were our 3 wise men and our biblical sketch. So we got a lot of great stuff, and we're going bigger and broader and raunchier. So if you want to get some laughs on Friday nights,
a lot of raunch.
We got a lot.
I remember when this show first premiered, my goddaughter was at my house, and it was we made a night out of it.
Yeah.
She came over. She's in college. She was just starting college, and she was like, I want to watch this show. Like, we wanted to watch it together. So she came over and we just sat down and we were watching Black Lady Sketch Show.
Yeah, it's a fun watch. Like, truly, this is my second season on the show, but like this season, we all are like, this one is we tip our own hat because.
And you were on the show before becoming.
Oh no, I was just a writer producer last season 3, and then I got promoted this season and worked with an incredible co-head writer, and Robin Thede showed us the ropes of like running the show, and it's been great.
All right. Well, we got some fun things. We actually watched the first episode of the 4th season
Cool.
together.
Yay!
As we should. I think it's a fun show to watch, like, with your girls.
Yeah.
Angela, like, come over so we can watch this episode. I was like, okay. And I came over there like,
I like doing stuff like that. It's like having like a little watch party.
Yeah, and also we don't get to see us. Like, we don't get to see us having fun. Like, we were just talking about another show before this, but it's like we have the drama and we have like the heartfelt stuff, but like just silly, goofy stuff, and dancing and hanging out with your girlfriends, talking about girl trip, sleeping with a pilot. Like,
that's us.
Yeah.
Well, not sleep with the pilot, but yeah, girls
talking
girls
about
trips.
sex.
Yes.
First of all, we love a girls trip.
Absolutely.
To be very clear, for New Year's, we took a girls trip. We went to St. Martin. It was me, Jasmine, Mashonda. Sometimes girls trips start out with a whole lot more people, and then people drop off.
Oh yeah, no. It's whoever shows up. That's the nucleus.
Right. We had this huge house.
I know,
the 3 of us.
Yeah,
but
and
that's
then you're
great.
like, okay, so now we got to break down the payments. And
I wish people would be more honest about it. Like, if you can't go, just say you can't go. And we're not mad at you, but I'll be mad if you say you're going and then you don't go. Because then, like you said, now we got to re-split the bill. We didn't think that we're going to have to do all of this.
Expensive.
It is.
It's an expensive time. And we had 2 options, right? It was either the bigger, nicer house that was newer, no one had stayed in it yet, they just remodeled it, or another house that was way less expensive. And I thought about that first, but then I was like, nah, the Graham is going to look way better.
And, Angela got to give me a pep talk. We worked too hard, Jasmine.
You one of those?
She's like, Jasmine, we worked too hard to be saying.
Everybody needs Angela in their life, because when you come from a scarcity mindset and survival mode, it's really hard for you to be like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. So you are the good angel on the side.
I don't know, because shoes, Jasmine, you work too hard. You see these shoes. I'm like, Angela.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's true, because I think sometimes we feel like really nervous to spend money. And then there's also this thing where you feel like this is a waste of money. We're finally getting to it. Why are we spending it on these designer things? And it's like, no, sometimes I want to get something that is Chanel.
Yes. Listen.
Did you struggle growing up, or did you always kind of have?
Oh no. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I was poor.
Okay.
But I gotta define poor. Like,
poor is relative.
Poor is relative. Like, I'm from New York City, so poor was like poor working class. Like, my parents worked. My mom worked in Bloomingdale's for 40 years. My dad.
Discount.
Yeah. Oh, my mom, like, she's you. She was like, you deserve it. You need this. I'm like, calm down, Mom. Chill out. But no, she's always the one that's like, yeah, treat yourself to nice things. Like, she actually told me just recently, because the same thing, same conversation that you had, like in my mind being like, okay, should I spend this money? Should I do this? And she was like, Chloe, you are a Walmart Target girl. It's time for you to really embrace your success. So go ahead and treat yourself. So, okay, yeah, Mom, thanks. But growing up, like, yeah, we were on a budget. Like, my parents worked really hard, and my grandparents were sharecroppers in South Carolina. So, like, we came from the Great Migration to New York, and, like, we understood the struggle. And so for me now, from being a native New Yorker, moving to LA, working in Hollywood, and seeing, like, the abundance, it's like, oh, yeah, people are spending money, and I should probably treat myself a little bit better and be okay with it.
How is it being a New Yorker in LA? We saw some of your stand-up where you talk about it.
The differences?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so New York is an abusive place, but we love it. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It's that drunk abusive uncle that come over. That's great, for like the family events. But like when he turned the table over, you gotta kick him out. Like that's New York. And then LA is like this sweet, caring place on the surface, but behind the back, it's like really sinister and dark, and you got to be mindful of it. So I think my approach, being a native New Yorker, I call out stuff, and I can't help but to be honest. Yeah. And so in LA, I think that's really helped me, because when I'm in conversations and meetings and I just say what it is, and people are like, you're so refreshing. And I'm like, okay, thanks.
It means honest.
Yeah.
And people ask you all the time, what do you do in LA? Because I know that's a LA thing.
Oh,
like, what do you do?
I don't tell people anymore.
I was going to ask you.
And you know why? It's honestly because of men. Because men are like gold diggers out. Like they're sluts in a nice way. Like they really want to know how can they get into your life. And now these dudes are really good at like playing the long game, because they'll like be cool and friendly, and then like 6 months in, they be like, I was thinking about writing a TV show. You be like, shoot me in the head, please. Like,
right. Now I like you.
Oh no, they.
Do you ever feel like I want to help him?
Never. Oh no, I don't help men. Those days are over. I don't help men. I don't defend men. I don't vouch for men. I don't speak on their behalf. I can't.
Speak on their behalf.
I don't. Not even my brother. I'm like, I don't know what he did over there. I can only speak for what I know, but I can't. I'm not getting on no witness stand for no man ever. I can't do it. I just can't, because they be doing too much.
Yes, they do.
And you be on here being just like, he's a good man, and then they be like, well, here's a video of him, and you be like, damn, now I look crazy.
Well, it's interesting. We have this segment up here called Tell Us a Secret, right? People call in and anonymously just tell us a secret. We don't judge them. And people get so mad, like, about what. First of all, they think the biggest insult is to say that I'm a feminist. They'll be like, I can't stand her. She's a feminist.
Got it, yes.
Okay, why wouldn't I be a feminist?
What's next?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a natural thing to want to be equal?
Exactly.
And get compensated?
And support other women?
Yeah. We should all be feminists.
And not be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen because I can't read a book? Yeah.
But in particular, they were very angry about this one where this woman called in and her husband cheated on her like 3 times. And then she went and slept with 20 people in like 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
She said it was parties and stuff. And she feels a lot better now.
Oh, so she went to like sex parties?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. So I understand the sex party lifestyle, right?
That's an LA thing too.
It's everywhere. I mean, especially during the pandemic.
It's like an underground thing, because I don't know. I've never been to a sex. I've never even been invited to a sex party.
I've never been invited either. I kind of feel left out, but continue.
Okay.
Have you been invited, Chloe?
Oh yeah, I have
She's
attended.
in Hollywood.
Yeah,
she's attended. Okay.
No, not in Hollywood, but in here.
No, I'm saying you. Oh, in New York, you've.
Yeah. I've gone to New York. I haven't gone in LA, but I say this because one of my best friend is a dominatrix, so she's been in the lifestyle. So through her, I've seen things and I'm aware of things. You learn a lot. So 20 people in the sex swing lifestyle makes sense, because that could be like 2 nights. That could be 2 parties.
That's what I said. It could have been 2 orgies.
Versus 20 people on a day-to-day basis.
Like you.
Yeah, like you. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's excessive. But if it's a party, I kind of understand that.
Right. People were so angry. If you got to see it, there's like thousands of comments. They said I'm like Satan for... I'm like, okay.
Listen, people are so sexually repressed, and that's the problem that we have. Countries that be getting it in, they are fine. They don't go to war. They don't have nobody trying to overthrow the government. They get in. Amsterdam is chilling. Whenever somebody come in and say, stop having sex, the fun is over, and then you about to have a civil war. Guaranteed, every time.
But what about when they try to have you withhold from sex in order to stop the violence?
Who?
What is that called again when they do that? When
withholding,
they're like,
right?
When they're like, all the women, nobody's having
sex.
Sex.
Yeah, like in that play that they did a long time ago. Yeah. And then Spike Lee did the remix.
Yes.
That don't work. Because there's always going to be one hoe that's like, meet me in the back.
Chirac.
It's always one girl that's like, I got
Somebody's
something for you.
still doing it. What she
Always.
won't, another one will.
Yeah.
Just like when the union goes on strike and they're like, we're just bringing some new workers.
Yep,
That's not part of
scabs.
the union.
Yep.
Now, let's talk about girls' trips for real, because that's on the first episode, Flued Out.
Yeah.
All right. So do you remember your first girls' trip?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was cheap because we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah,
and,
it's always like that.
Yeah, we took a bus to Atlantic City and we had a time. We had a time.
Was your dominatrix best friend with you?
No, this was a different group of friends. But
Okay.
a guy that I knew, he was a stripper, so we went to like the strip party, and then that was a whole time.
Okay, those
Yeah,
are fun.
Yeah.
Some people I feel like women feel like that's not fun. You know how guys love going to strip clubs, and we do too, to go see women. But for some reason, they think like male strippers aren't fun. And I've actually hosted a couple and had so much fun at them.
Yeah. Oh, first of all, they're real showmen. It's like, that's actually low key. Well, now women strippers are more athletic because
Right.
like back in the day, they were just like doing a little pole
Walk
dance.
around,
Now
right.
they doing like Olympic style gymnastics. Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the
and
snack pack,
tag
Gigi
team-
McGuire.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Like, I think honestly, stripping should be in Olympics. I think it's an Olympic
It
sport.
is,
It
right?
is.
Don't they have it? But men, because I saw the guys were like setting their dicks on fire.
Yeah.
And they were
Gosh.
lifting like huge women up.
Huge,
and,
massive,
flipping
yeah.
them over.
The first strip show I went to, it used to be like underground in the Bronx, and it was always some random place, and they would sell a ticket, and you would just go there. And I remember this guy made a sandwich with his dick. He had a hero.
What?
He had a hero bread. He put the.
Smelled like a hot dog.
He
yeah.
had a girl. He brought a woman on stage. She held her hand out. He put the hero bread in her hand. He put the cheese, the lettuce, tomatoes, and then he put his right in there.
And then what happened?
What is the point of that?
Yeah.
We would sit and it'd be like, this gonna be a good ass sandwich.
So she was just holding the
She
sandwich
was
and
just
then
holding
what?
it, and then he put his dick in it, and then he was like, "You want to take a bite?" And she was like, and
Now, is it okay to go live on Instagram?
no, you can't. No, you can't. We lay the rules down. You cannot go live on anything, on a girls' night, girls' trip,
Right.
anything. No live. You got to take video and then get approval from all parties present.
Right.
Because I feel like if you go on live, you a op. You trying to destroy my life or something. You don't like me. If you go on live,
you
you
don't
don't like
like
me.
me.
And
Yeah.
people be like, woo. I remember I went live when I was in, where were we? We were at a casino somewhere. I did not know this was going to happen. One of my friends was drunk, and she started talking crazy about her job. I turned it right off. I was like, woo. She was like, man,
You
you
just-
just at my job.
You
I
just
was
see
like,
that finger
you know
coming
what
through
I'm
the
talking
camera
about?
like,
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, okay,
And
got
I was
it.
like, ooh, let me delete this and make sure this doesn't go up anywhere. She started talking crazy.
Yeah, but you got to be careful because the thing is, people will record your live, and so
Yeah.
now it's there in perpetuity, and you can't do anything to get rid of it. And it's like, I understand when we make mistakes and you accidentally like butt dial somebody, but like people are looking for you to mess up so that they can hold it over your head.
Yeah, got to be careful.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that too. And it's also, can we have some fun and live in the moment anymore?
Yes, I'm all for it. I went to see Usher in Vegas, and I was kind of annoyed because everybody was on their phone.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you got to understand, you got to give people energy so they can feed off of that. And I think
Yes.
because we've been in the house for 3 years, that people forget that you need like live human interaction to like power through sometimes. And I wish we would put the phones down.
How do you feel at your shows doing stand up when people have their phones out? Do you have a no phones rule? Do you make that
Yeah.
announcement?
Well, I'm here in New York for the week, so I've been at the Comedy Cellar all week, and they have a ironclad no phone. So they take your phone, they put it in like a little Ziploc bag, and they lock it up so you can't get it. And I think that is so freeing, not only for me but for the audience, because you get to be present and you don't have to worry about somebody texting you, calling you, what's going on the internet. Like, just be in the moment. And also it allows me the creativity to like work through stuff, because I'm just working on new material, and now I don't want to worry about you posting it when it's not ready and people
Right.
judging me by something that could have been like an ad lib off the top of my head. And so I think we need to like really be more mindful of like, this is art, this is work. People are not ready to be on camera all the time. You got to be mindful of that.
Because as you're working through things, there's going to be times that you say the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
And then I would hate for Chloe to get canceled.
Absolutely. I'm barely here. I don't want to get canceled yet.
You feel like that? You still feel like you're barely here?
I do feel like that. This is my third career. Like, I've done so many different things.
I know you from being a writer.
Yeah, so I was a journalist. I was an editor at
Oh,
Vibe.
yeah, journalist. Sorry,
Yeah.
not just a writer. A
Oh,
journalist. Let's be clear.
There's a difference. But yeah, I was a journalist. I was an editor. I was at Vibe. I was at the Source magazine. I was right at the Village Voice, and then from there, I decided to go into comedy. I did that for 10 years, and then I wrote a book, F Your Diet, and then a pandemic happened and everything shut down. And in that time, I used all the things I had learned up until that point, and that got me into TV writing and producing. Then I moved to LA. So like I feel like I'm constantly going like up a hill and down a hill and trying to figure out like new things about myself. And so I'm introducing myself to new people now. Like people in Hollywood don't know the journalist in me or the comedian in me. They know the writer. And so I'm always thinking, I never take for granted that people know me. I
do the same thing.
Always introduce myself. I never feel
too.
like I never be like, you know who I am, because I'm like, nah, they might not. So.
And I feel like all those things are related, though, with your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, being a journalist, then going into being a comedian, then going into writing for television. You also had your podcast and your streaming show that you did as well.
Yeah.
And so for you, being an introvert, right, how was that for you during the pandemic?
Well, I mean, the great thing about the pandemic for me was like I got to work from home. I didn't have to leave my house. So I love that. And also technology allowed me to still do all those things from my dining room table at the time.
And still making money.
And still writing on shows.
In your pajamas.
And I love it. I love it. I mean, I didn't put on hard pants for like 3 years. I mean, I loved it.
How was it for you going back out, though?
You know, I think going back out was interesting because you see how deprived people were for like human interaction. And so I find myself being even more outgoing than I normally would be. So I'm actually probably a little bit less of an introvert, and I know how to turn it on more, and I know how to like appreciate human interaction, because being in the house for like ever and ever, it changes your perspective for sure.
Now, you did write the book, F Your Diet. I had you on for that.
Yes.
And so I want to talk to you about that too, just because we've seen now a lot of people were in pursuit of the perfect body, and what the perfect body is seems like it's always changing.
Yeah.
So now people are getting rid of their BBLs, they're getting rid of fillers, they're getting rid of certain things that they've had done because they're like, okay, this is a different type of like, for whatever reason that they might have. Like we have Black China up here, aka Angela is her name.
Yes.
And she discussed that journey that she's been having. So what about, what do you think about just this whole like, all right, there was this whole craze and then now it seems like it's scaling back. And I've seen doctors saying the most requested thing that they're getting now from plastic surgeons is to get the reverse.
Yeah, because I think we pushed it too far, right? And I think you're looking at these people who essentially were achieving a Black woman's physique, but on steroids, and now you already have the blueprint of a Black woman physique because you are a Black woman, and now you getting the interpretation of a white woman getting a Black woman's body. Ooh. And so now you got to scale it back because it's like it's too much. And also the upkeep is crazy. Like if you don't have the upkeep, if you never worked out and now you got a tummy tuck and a BBL,
that fat is going somewhere.
It's going to your ankles, baby.
Yeah.
You about to be clapping with your thighs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a lot to take on. And I think, you know, once we educate ourselves and we understand like what the body really naturally can do and what is realistic for your shape, then I'm all for plastic surgery. I'm all for getting what you want, but it's like tweaks. Now I'm not into like doing something that is not, you're not able to keep up, and nobody knows
safely.
Yeah, because nobody knows where the ass is going to end. Nobody knows where is it going to settle when you're 85.
And
where is it
go
going
to
to
a
go?
real plastic surgeon, a real doctor, somebody certified to do these things. Get referrals. Make sure you check them
what if
out.
I can't afford it?
Then don't get it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Don't
probably not
get
the
it.
best thing.
Because
to do.
a lot.
Pay your rent.
It's a lot of women. Not a lot. I mean, there's some women that really want this body, but they can't afford it, so they go places that aren't necessarily safe.
Yeah, and we see what happens, right? And you know, you have like medical tourism is a big thing, but like these people, put it like this: if your doctor's on Instagram doing lives with somebody on the table, do not go to that person. If they rapping about
Are they doing a TikTok?
Yeah,
Oh,
don't.
Uh-oh. Do you write the songs on there? You collaborate?
Now, listen, musicality is not my thing.
Okay,
That's not your
ministry.
That's not
songs
that
when
is
you
not
watch the show.
No. They will tell you, the writers will tell you whenever I try, they be like, Chloe, stop, please. This is not it. Hard jokes, scenarios, got you, but a hot 16 isn't coming.
Because you could do like some nerd rap, because Jasmine does nerd rap.
What?
First of all, she's so insulting.
I felt the buzz and I turned to see if you was okay.
She said, BT had us do this cipher thing, but it was people that didn't rap. So everybody sounded not the best.
Not everybody. Some people were good.
I wasn't good.
Wow.
Angela,
Are y'all friends? What is happening here?
You can't tell. Angela called it nerd rap. She's like, okay, nerd rap.
Do some of the bars.
No, I will not. Anyway, it's so bad that Angela has it as part of a drop when I'm on. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm not just that brand. I'm my own brand.
Just,
Yeah.
Listen,
Nerd
I
rap.
applaud
She
you
used
for
the
doing
word
it.
validity in the rap.
Go ahead, girl.
Well, I
SAT
didn't write it
word.
because I had a writer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
But yeah, so all I'm saying is, 'cause I know you're a self-proclaimed nerd.
Yes.
So am I.
Yes.
And I have no problem with that.
But rapping ain't it. Rapping
It's
has
not.
never been it.
Not for me either.
No, it's never been. It's never been my thing at all. My dream growing up was to be a hook girl. I wanted to be the girl in the back, like the anonymous girl that never got feature credit. I wanted to be that in the background. That was my thing.
Okay, I'm not mad at it. So, what are you most proud of when it comes to? I want to go through different parts of your career as a journalist, right? What are you most proud of when you were a journalist? You still are always. A
Yeah,
journalist,
I mean,
but-
it's always a part of my heart. But honestly, I am truly grateful that I got to experience, and I know you did too, like the height of hip hop journalism. Like when people were really like breaking stories, when Black artists had to go to Black media to get their story told. Like when we were spotlighting artists that mainstream didn't care about. Like before, we had all these covers with these hip hop artists on Vogue and all that stuff. Like they really truly came to the source.
Right.
They came to Vibe because we told their story and we knew them. We were invested in their growth. So I'm glad that I was a part of that experience before the blogosphere and the internet and social media took over. And then I'm also really proud of the fact that I was a writer at the Village Voice, where I was able to tell those stories at this, prominent newspaper. And I had a lot of great cover stories that I was showcasing Black culture to the masses, because it was very important for me to tell my people's stories and to show who we are outside of just like, a little blurb or a headline or a police blotter. Like it was very important for me to show.
It was always exciting to see a story about us in the Village Voice too,
Yeah.
and to make sure that it was written by us as well. So, what would you say is your biggest story that you ever had back then?
So I would say the biggest story I had, okay, I'm going to say two stories at the Village Voice. One was a story called Girls to Men, where I chronicled the LGBTQ subculture of Black gay girls. And it came from the story of a teenager. I'll never forget this young woman. Her name is Shakia Gunn, and she was senselessly murdered. She was walking with her girlfriend in Penn Station in Jersey, and a man approached them and tried to flirt with them, and she was like, "No, I'm good," and he killed her, stabbed her, and killed her. And I always kept thinking, like, why is that the action? Why is that the reaction? And then it got me interested in like this subculture of like young, hip hop butch girls who were like, masked. Before all the words that we have now, it was this identity that nobody really understood or respected. And I submerged myself in the culture, and I followed like this group of folks and got to see like their version of the ballroom culture, which was, very different than voguing culture, but their idea of their community. And that was my first cover story for the Village Voice, called Girls to Men. I did not like the cover title. I did not like the cover title.
I can see that.
Girls to Men.
But I didn't have any say in that.
That wasn't yours.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it's attention grabbing.
It definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, this is over a decade ago.
They
So
couldn't do that
like,
now,
yeah,
like-
the hell, no, they couldn't do that. But that story caused so much conversation because it was really this group of young women who were trying to solidify their identity, who didn't feel like they were part of the larger gay culture because they weren't white, they weren't rich, they were poor, they were Black, they were women. And I remember one day after the story came out, like they ended up having like town hall meetings because they wanted to know if I was Black. They was like, "Who the hell is Chloe Hilliard? Is she
Right.
Black?" And they
Chloe
were like,
doesn't
"Yeah,
necessarily sound Black.
doesn't really sound Black." Shout out to my mom, who was like, "I'm gonna make sure you get a job. This is your name." And then I remember one day I was walking and my phone rang and I answered it, and it was like, "Hi, this is Glad, and we just wanted to talk to you about like the article you wrote," because they wanted to make sure that my intentions were pure and I wasn't trying to like objectify or make this already group that was vulnerable even more vulnerable. And so I was like, no, I'm Black. I'm Black, and I'm from New York, and I know this community, and I wanted to tell their story. And they were like, "Okay, we just wanted to check," because they was like,
Okay, the temperature check.
we got temperature
I
check.
appreciate that too.
Yeah, I do appreciate that too, because these are people's lives that you're telling. Like they welcome you into their home, they tell you their trials and tribulations, and I want to give them a voice. And I think even as a writer and producer now, like I still want to give voice to the voiceless, and I think it's very important for us to have people who come from our walks of life who can create shows and television series and limited series, movies, everything that really showcase our range of life experiences. So I would say that one was definitely one that really like hit me in the chest, being like, okay, I see the power of my words. And then also I did the Remy Ma cover when on the Village Voice, and I covered her leading up to the trial before she went away to prison. And so I got to really see her and show who she was, and I felt like that was important because, you know, at the time everybody was like Remy Ma and she's a criminal and this and this and that, but I got to see the mother, I got to see the wife, I got to see the young girl who told me her life story, and I felt like if I wasn't in a position to do that, I don't know if anybody would have been in that position.
Right, especially with the care
that
absolutely. You were able to take with that. Okay, so that's journalism, Chloe.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to comedian, Chloe, what are you most proud of?
I am definitely most proud of my last comic standing and my Tonight Show. I would say those two things were highlights for me. Last comic standing, I did that 3 years in. So I was a baby in comedy, and to place in the top 25 of a comedy competition was great for me in my career. And then the Tonight Show, when I got a chance to do the Tonight Show, it felt like here I am on this platform where so many amazing comedians got to perform, and I did my set, and I was very proud of myself. I truly was, because that wasn't my goal. Like when I got into comedy, it wasn't to be on a Tonight Show. It was
what was the goal?
It was to be on TV. It was to be a talking head, to be a host. Like being a journalist, I wanted to like flex the comedy muscle so that I could be off the top when I'm interviewing people and being like, you know, sarcastic and funny and witty, and it just stuck, and I just kept
What do
doing
you think
stand-up.
your sense of humor comes from? Because sometimes for people, I remember like Donnell Rawlings will tell you it's from him, like when he was in the Army. I know certain people will say, well, this is what made me funny. I use my humor as, you know, a way to protect myself.
Yeah.
But for you, where did your sense of humor?
Oh, I was bullied tremendously. I had no friends. I was a social misfit. I was the tallest kid. I was the youngest kid, like all my life. So I'm 6'1". I've been this height since I was 12. Like, so I never fit in. I grew up in a Hasidic Jewish neighborhood in Brooklyn, and everybody else was like in Crown Heights, Clinton Hill, and I never connected. I was in a church all the time. Like I was the kid that knew nothing. Like I had no idea who the top artist was. I remember one day after school, elementary school, somebody was like, what do you listen to, this radio station or this? I was like, I never heard of neither one of these. Like I listened to Al Jarreau because my mom be playing Al Jarreau.
I like Al Jarreau.
Yeah, but I was like, I knew nothing. I had no street cred, nothing. And I had no big cousins to beat nobody up. So it was just me out in the world. And so because of that, it was a defense mechanism to just not care. So it was nothing that you could say or bully me about that would get me, because I could say something way worse about you or myself and then just like kind of stuck. And so it was like my armor that just got me through a lot of like hard times. And then as I got older, it just made me observe things, because when you aren't in the scene, when you aren't in the popular group, you get to see everything. And so I got to see and learn people, and that thing helped me a lot as a journalist, as a comedian, because I can pick up on things and energy and people and really like break people down and like understand how people make the moves that they make. And so for me, it just lends itself to stand up, because I can articulate and make a color scene and like really pick up nuances that folks don't see. So I'm always seeing and absorbing stuff, and it helps me a lot.
So the bullying was helpful.
I want to thank my bullies. Where the camera at? I want to thank my bullies, because they truly did help me. Like I had this conversation because I did not realize like how much it impacted me, because it made me so independent, and it made me not care what anybody thinks. So to this day, I don't care what anybody has to say about my creativity, my work, my book, me, my family, nothing, because I know who I am, and I know in my heart that I'm a good person, and I know that I want to do things for people. I want to help other people too. So if you don't like me, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
And before the show started, we were also talking about your father being in prison from when you were 4 until 9. So how do you think that affected you?
Oh, I mean, that definitely made me really independent. You know, my mom and I was the only child at the time. My mom and I really held on to each other, and we made sure that we took care of each other, and that made me a person that became a protector. And I think that's still a part of who I am. I always look out for people. I always look to see who needs help, who feels weak, who needs to be, you know, poured into. I'm always big on like letting people know that they have value and that they're special. And I think I did that for my mom, and my mom did that for me, because it was a hard time. My family, you know, my parents are still married to this day, and, you know, they were not newlyweds, but they were young when they got married. And so it was us. It was just the three of us. And so when my dad went to prison, it pulled that family structure away. And I still knew that my dad was there, so I didn't feel like I was abandoned, but it was a trust system, not only the trust system, like the system, but like being aware of what the system is at 4 or 5 years old, like traveling to prison and being like, why there's so many bars? Like, why can't he go to the vending machine? Like, why can't I sit on his lap? Like, it's so many things that you become aware of as a kid that I think most people don't understand that it does impact you, because when you try to have deep, meaningful relationships, it's always in the back of your mind, like, trust, is this going to be taken away, pulled away from me? How much can I like confide in this person? And will they be here tomorrow? And so, you know, I gotta give a shout out to therapy, because it definitely helps. It definitely helps when you get to like dig down to the root of like the triggers in your life. So I'm grateful that I was able to kind of like heal those wounds.
And I also wanted to, and Jasmine's been going to therapy. I've been talking about doing it.
You haven't, Angela.
Angela needs
You've
therapy
never,
more than
you've
anybody in
never
this
been,
room,
you've
okay?
never been to therapy.
No, but I'm going to. You know,
When?
I'm scheduling it. Thank you, BetterHelp.
Let's get a date. Let's get a date. Let's get a
Thank you,
date.
BetterHelp.
Wait, I want to know. So, what's your apprehension about therapy?
There's no apprehension. I just haven't done it. I don't have a problem with it at all. You know, I just feel like it's not like something happened. I'm like, you know what? I gotta go deal with this. I think I talk to people a lot. So I'm not an introvert. I'm more of an extrovert. And so I do have like a great group of people who, whenever things happen, I've never felt like I don't have anyone, you know, to speak to. So it's never been something that it's been pressing me. Like, I need to make sure I take this. I've dealt with this loss or whatever. And there are things I'm sure I'm not even aware of.
Yeah, I think that's the thing
that's
that most
what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what's the seed of
Right.
the tree? You know, like, what is the root of the cause of the thing that makes you interact with people the way that you do? And I think we tend to think we know what the problem is. And I thought for a long time I knew what the problem was.
Right.
Or the issue was, but then when you really do the work and you're like, oh, it's much deeper than I even thought.
Yeah, because some people
Yeah.
I look at, I'd be like, let's set this up.
Let's unpack this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's interesting, because I mean, I talk about therapy with my friends, especially my black male friends, and they're like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, no, you need to talk about it.
Right.
And if you are a person of color in America, you need to go to therapy.
I think
100%.
every person of color in America should go to
Absolutely.
therapy.
Yeah. We live in a hostile environment. Everywhere you go, you have to take into consideration so many things that are not connected to you as an individual, but connected to you as who you are as a person because of your race. And so that's a lot of weight to carry.
And I feel like a lot of people come to me for help too.
Yeah, you got to
They
stop
do.
that.
Like a lot of my friends will come to me. I'll be like, all right. But I don't mind doing that, but I don't really call anybody. Like if I just am always in conversation.
Yeah, I always say, who is pouring into you?
All right, look, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know how it goes. Now, another thing I want to ask you. I already know the answer to this. Are you glad that you never went to Freaknik?
Oh yeah, I missed it. I just missed it. I mean, I used to hear about it. I just missed it. I am so glad. I am so glad.
What do
I
you
am
think
not.
about all these women who are now very concerned?
First of all, why are you snitching on yourself, Mama? That's 20 plus years ago. You can act like it's not you.
Yeah,
because you see there's a group of people, they're not identifying themselves. It's like a
Right.
politician. There's some women who are very nervous. But can they just put you in this documentary without your consent?
Probably, yeah. Because I mean, it's they've shot it in public. So if you're shot in the street in
But
the
usually
public
when
domain,
usually when you're shooting in the sea, there's the street or out public. Is usually a sign that
nah,
says,
these are camcorders.
I know, but I'm saying you have to provide consent, some type of awareness. You do.
Uh-oh.
So
You
they
think
can-
Jasmine's on
no,
it?
I think it's
I'm not
I
an
can't.
age, but
I mean, I can't quote this directly, but I believe it's like when you go into a facility, when you go into a venue, a private venue, then you have to say this thing is being recorded. But if you're out in the street, it's public domain.
when you are outside in New York, you've never seen signs that filming is going on and stuff like that.
Well, they just don't want you to walk into it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why they do it more, I think.
I mean, I
and-
see it a lot in LA.
Yeah, I mean, and they're gonna block the street, so you can't go in
They
there
can just blur
anyway.
their
But yeah.
faces out.
Listen, I don't know why you snitch on yourself, because if
I'm
somebody
like,
like,
that's not me.
It'd be
yeah,
horrifying.
they be like, I saw you topless on the top of a Mitsubishi. I'm like, it wasn't me.
Not my breasts.
Not mine. They don't look like
You're
that.
like, that look like your homegirl, your sister. That's not all of y'all.
No, and also we don't know what's gonna be in there. So
Right, we
like
don't know yet.
nobody knows what the actual like storyline is. Like, are they talking about a celebration of Black excellence that got a little raunchy, or are they talking about like straight predator energy? Like either way.
Also, I want men to be concerned.
Oh, no, men are concerned as
they're
well.
They need to be.
concerned.
Yeah, they should be.
are.
Yeah,
Because
because I
some
feel like
of
it's
them
all
was-
of us. We're always like.
But I feel like people don't look at men the way that
We
they
don't.
look. Yeah, at women. Like when we do it, it's so much worse.
Well, and we
If
judge
it-
ourselves more harsh too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also the fact is, like, there was a lot of bad stuff that was happening in Freaknik,
Yeah.
and I already
Just
see the
looking at that never made me want to go.
Yeah, like I'm like, y'all, so y'all really got 20 dudes ripping a woman's clothes off, and y'all think this is a party?
Yeah.
And then to see people who were not even alive when Freaknik was happening be like, here they are trying to take down black men. It's like, nah, sis, he was ripping off her bikini top.
Because I always hear guys say, oh, everybody was acting like this back then, or this is
No.
what was acceptable back then. But I don't ever look at that as true, because I definitely know men who would never have done certain things that are like, no, that is, I would be shocked if I saw them, because everybody didn't do that.
No.
You still know when something is wrong.
Yeah. You know not to walk past a woman and stick your butt next to hers. You know.
Right.
Like you just like human decency, you know what not to do. So if you're doing it and got caught on camera, then you gotta live with that, because I'm gonna watch it.
Me and Ange gonna watch it together. She gonna come up. She gonna be like, "Hey, let's watch it."
You know, I'm a nerd. I was like, thank God they didn't make a pen relays. That's what I was at.
But you know what's so crazy? Because you can like take a picture. If you stop it, I feel like I'm probably gonna get a lot more people in trouble. If you pause it and you take a picture and do a Google image search, you can probably find the people.
Yeah, you can. Remember that article we were looking at where you can find your image?
Yeah, your own images, anything that you've ever done.
Yep.
Well, listen, Chloe, I want to make sure we got touched on everything that you wanted to talk about, because the Black Lady Sketch Show is back.
Yes, season 4, watch it. HBO, streaming on HBO Max.
That's how I watch it. Everything's streaming for me at HBO, which is soon going to be only Max.
Yes.
Right.
And then Writer's Strike. Give us some insight into that.
So if you love television, then you need to be aware about the writer's strike. The WGA is in negotiations right now. May 1st is the cutoff point. We may go on strike if they don't hash out everything. But the main things that writers are talking about basically is residuals. So you remember back in the day when a sitcom made 100 episodes and then it went sold into syndication, and you would see it now like 4 o'clock on a Tuesday on like Channel 9 or whatever. And so now we don't really have that opportunity to make extra money after the initial airing of a show, because all these companies have their own streamers, so they just give the show to their own free streamer. So that cuts out a check that can help somebody live comfortably for the rest of their lives.
Okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one thing. With streaming has definitely impacted the residual, which impacts our pay. Also, just like the basic rate increasing over the years with inflation and everything, we want like a boost with our basic rate. And then also AI. AI is something that we really have to address now.
About that.
Yeah. And so, the last time we negotiated a contract, or the WGA negotiated a contract, was 15 years ago, and that strike lasted 7 months. That's when you got a bunch of reality TV stuff.
Yeah, remember that?
Yes.
When a lot of the shows that you were watching just mid-season.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does the AI situation affect writers?
So basically, we have to go in now preemptively, knowing that technology is growing by the minute, and say we want to make sure that you're not going to have AI writing these shows.
Okay.
Or even have AI in the position to contribute, and then you just have like a person or two checking to make sure that the AI
or even
is like,
voiceovers too.
Yeah,
I know for sure. I can see how it can affect talent. I was just wondering in terms of writing, like at some point, is that something that we think AI will be able to do?
Absolutely. I mean, you think about it. It's not just a problem. Like, I know some people think like, oh, what's the point of a union? Unions are very important. They're very helpful. I mean, I wish more people understood. When I was at the Village Voice, we had a union, and it saved my life.
Here we have to be in a union.
Unions are important. Like, it's like, do you trust your manager who gives you shitty hours to have your back when it's time to get an increase in your pay? Like, no, like they are with the bosses who want to make as much profit as possible. So you need people to advocate on behalf of the worker. And the union conversation applies to everything, because every major corporation, because of the pandemic and this recession, want to make as much money as possible. So if that means I get to hire 2 live human beings and a computer to make 22 episodes of TV, they will try and do that.
Yeah. Right. We just walked past the McDonald's that's completely computerized.
Yeah.
You saw they shut down like all the McDonald's to redo everything, and so
I mean, technology is great and it definitely has its advantages, but we have to make sure that we honor and respect the human beings that create the things that allow us to have the entertainment and fun that we have. Like,
sometimes I would love to talk to a human. It's really hard. When you need some help, you're like,
customer service.
Representative, please.
What can regular people do to help in terms of this potential strike?
I think honestly, it's like, voice your opinion, talk about it. Like, talk about it in social media. I know you may not be in the union, but like, be aware of what's happening. So when things go left, like, let your, your provider, your streamer know, like, we want quality TV. We want quality programming. We want to support the people who make these shows and also watch and support the shows. Like, it's not enough to just say, oh, I'm going to watch it. But like, sometimes you have to watch it because those ratings are a matter of like somebody having a series on for 6 seasons or like 2 episodes. Like, and it's so many good shows. I know it's a lot of stuff out there, but like, if you really love something, support it, tweet about it, let people know, because they watch those tweets. They really look at those tweets to see what the conversation is.
All right. Well, Chloe Hilliard, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And how can people find you online?
Yes, follow me. You can go to chloehilliard.com or fyourdiet.com. You can get a copy of my book. I'm also dropping a clothing line, athleisure wear.
Oh, nice.
My favorite type of
yes.
gear.
Oh, I'm going to make sure y'all get some stuff up here. The line is called F Your Diet. So,
you know, we support. You don't even, we're going to go online.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's over for us. We about to go
Thank you.
crazy.
Yeah, it's dropping soon. Dropping this summer. So I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you always.
Yes.
You got to make sure we make this a regular thing.
Whenever I'm in New York, I'm here.
Okay. Mastery of Comedy, Chloe Hilliard.
Thank you.
Way up.